Before we begin, we would like to offer our condolences to the family and friends of Josh Baker. Josh was an immensely talented 20-year-old off-spin bowler at Worcestershire, and he had his whole life ahead of him. We are deeply saddened by his passing.
So, welcome back to County Cricket Weekly. This is episode 5. 5 games this week, but the most wins. 3 wins on the board, which only means one thing. Summer's on the way.
Yep, summer's definitely on the way. Delighted to see my team, Kent, win, and obviously you'll be pretty happy as a Sussex fan too.
Yeah, it's quite nice for that when both of our teams that we support get a win. And I think that it was another good week, even though with the 5 games, less than usual, there was plenty of action going on. Essex shocked by Somerset in the low-scoring thriller. And, of course, like you said, Sussex extending their lead at the top of Division 2. Should we get into it?
Yeah, some cracking matches to cover. Let's get stuck into it. So let's start with Somerset v Essex then. Massive win for Somerset on a pretty seam-friendly pitch, to say the least, at Taunton. 20 wickets on day one. Essex 156 all out. Somerset in reply 128 all out.
Yeah, it's quite rare that you see 20 wickets in a day. Porter and Cook seem like they're going to become this iconic county championship bowling duo. They're just so impressive. 5 for each of them, and I don't think they're going to be stopped. I think they're going to, hopefully, Somerset have kind of stopped them a little bit this week, but so far they've been the most impressive duo in the competition by far, I think.
Yeah, you just saying that because they're in your fantasy team. Or
yeah,
not?
Cook's been in there from the start, and he'll stay in there. So it seemed like the wicket where you really had to grind for your runs. Nearly 3 hours at the crease for Tom Lammonby, facing 116 balls for his 38. And as a club cricketer, I don't get bored doing that. My patience is not good enough for that.
Yeah, I mean, my first home game is this weekend, and having looked at the wicket, I think, we'll be looking for some similar efforts from our opening batters. 3 hours and 116 balls for 38. Yeah, raise your bat. That's worth 50 at least. Yeah. More runs for Andy Mead, who scored 31. Batted really well, actually, I thought. He's playing some really nice shots, and shout out Andy. Love all of his social media content as well. Somerset bowlers, so they continue their brilliant form. Davey, Gregory, Overton, Ball, Essex all out for 138 on the second day of play. And then in reply, Somerset got off to a flyer. Renshaw and Dixon playing some brilliant shots. Partnership of 75. Wobbled a bit, but Umeed in the runs again. And then Tom Banton saw them home. Yeah,
it was Shane Snater, I think it was, who was just taking wickets late on, and he was getting a little bit close. But yeah, like you say, Banton scored a few, and they eventually got over the line. Interesting, no batter going over 50, which I feel like hasn't happened so far in the county championship yet. I might be wrong, but I don't think that's happened yet.
Yeah, whatever the opposite of Bazball, that's probably it. So Somerset still unbeaten this season and now going to second place in the county championship. Massive confidence for them, and a huge victory over Essex, who many people were picking as their favourites to win the champ.
Yeah, many people said Essex, but there is a clip that we've got of you saying Somerset, so you'll be happy with that.
True.
And I enjoyed some of the shots on the show as well from Somerset batters. I feel like by the end of this competition, we're going to have a Tom Lammonby cover drive or on-drive compilation. He's played some ridiculous shots already. And Sean Dixon as well hit 2 huge sixes, which were kind of out the blue in comparison to those slower grinding innings from Lammonby. Just to then see someone absolutely smash it was quite the contrast. But yeah, I enjoyed watching that game for sure.
Yeah, Lammonby's been brilliant all season long, and he's a vital part of that Somerset team. They've got a great balance of overseas players and homegrown talent. So, yeah, they look really strong contenders for this year's title.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move on to the next game. Lancashire versus Kent.
Massive win for Kent. Bowled out Lancashire for 92 after posting 261. The spell from Nathan Gilchrist and Wes Agar, actually. Gilchrist 6 for 24, Wes Agar 4 for 35. Just completely blew Lancashire away.
Yeah, it's wild, and you have to say for those two teaming up, that's another. We see it a lot. Bowling duos, they go hand in hand together, and 6 for and a 4 for is very, very impressive.
Yeah, Lancashire following on, third innings much better, 332. Another 3 wickets for Agar and an epic spell of 33.3 overs from Matt Parkinson. He took 3 big wickets, including Hurst and Hartley, who was set, and of course he got Keaton Jennings, thanks in large part to a brilliant stumping from Harry Finch.
Yeah, it's a wild stumping, and I saw so many people in the comments praising him for his effort. And if you haven't seen it yet, it's an incredible clip.
Yeah, and Harry, I actually went to school with Harry, played a lot of cricket with him and against him growing up. And I was able to chat to him on the phone earlier today to find out what it was like to make that incredible stumping at Old Trafford. Harry, thank you so much for joining us on County Cricket Weekly. We'll get into the stumping in a second, but firstly, How good was that win at Old Trafford?
Yeah, no, it was a good one. Obviously, I think actually for a neutral, it was probably a pretty good game to have on Sky. The wicket changed a lot sort of throughout the whole game. I think the first few days sort of felt impossible to bat on at times against the seam, and then obviously it started to spin at the back end. But no, it was. I know you're a Kent fan, so yeah, it was a much needed win, and no, it was a really good performance. It was obviously the game before we had a few injuries and stuff, so we had a few people back, and yeah, we put in a really good display.
Now, I know what your journey has been like. For anyone listening to this, me and Harry have played with and against each other through school cricket, club cricket through the years. But tell me a bit about your journey, how you came to play at Kent and how you ended up as their first choice keeper in red ball cricket.
Yeah, well, obviously, firstly started at Sussex, as you know. Played there for 7 or 8 years. Got released in 2020, obviously during the pandemic, and then I tried for 2 years trying to find somewhere to play. I actually tried at Kent for the first season, and then a little bit into the second season, and then eventually got offered a contract there after 2 years of grafting. And then yeah, sort of signed last year as the third choice wicket keeper, and now here I am as the first choice. And to say that I've only been keeping for 18 months. I was a seamer 16 months. 2021 I was still trying to bowl seam. So it's been a bit of a crazy journey. Yeah, and here I am now as the first choice wicket keeper. And I know you'll find that just as crazy because we used to sort of bowl first change together at school. So yeah, it's very it's very weird.
That's brilliant, mate. Now, talk me through your keeping, particularly in this game. Obviously, pretty nice to have it on Sky. They've got all the angles, all the slow motion replay, all the analysis from Nasser Hussain and Michael Atherton. But I want to hear it from your perspective. Obviously, Parky turns the ball massively. This one in particular, absolutely rags. And you managed to pluck it with one hand and stump Keaton Jennings. Talk me through it.
It was a fluke. It was. It was no. It's no. It was one of those where I've worked obviously really hard on my keeping the last 18 months, and especially sort of the last few weeks in this season, and just trying out a few different things. But yeah, it was. I think just to give context, obviously it was spinning quite consistently. So for me, I knew that if I was going to get anything, it was either going to be beating the left-hander on the inside, whether that's him trying to cover drive the ball and it does him on the inside and I get a take, or it might be one of those down the leg side. And if I'm honest, I wasn't really thinking down the leg side. I was more thinking, right, if Jennings or Wells are gonna maybe try drive Parky out the rough, then I've got a chance of getting something on the inside. Probably not going to get a lot on the outside edge. And yeah, it kind of just happened. Like I saw him, he went quite early, so you know, as I think it's been said, like lost sight of the ball, but I think managed to sort of roughly guess. I was like, right, this is obviously going to end up down leg. If I'm going to get this, I'm not getting on the outside. So I went fairly early, and then yeah, the rest all happened quite quickly, and I was suddenly sort of standing up, realised that I'd got the stumping and stuff. But no, it's a pretty cool feeling, and that's I think it's just a nice. I think a nice reminder of sort of how hard I've worked, and when you do things like that, it's pretty special. And I think the most important thing, it's going to sound cliche, but it's just trying to help the team and impact the game in any way you can. And that's part of the reason why I decided to start keeping, because I really missed being an all-rounder, and I thought I could potentially do a decent job at it. And no, it was pretty cool. And I think the lads were pretty happy with it as well.
Yeah, including Matt Parkinson. I was just thinking, watching that, he toiled away for 30 odd overs, I think, in that second innings. And you guys have had a fairly similar journey, and seeing you two celebrate, having both, I think he might have been released from his former club, or you know, potentially he's had moments in his career where he's wondered what's next. And actually for you guys to share that moment together was pretty special. Tell me a bit about what it's been like playing with him at Kent and the team in general.
Yeah, well, he's my roommate on away trips as well, so we're striking up a bit of a bond. Both the shortest in the team, which he tries to remind me that he's taller than me, but he's not. But no, he's been outstanding. He was outstanding at Lancashire as well. I think it was just one of those situations where I think obviously they had Tom Hartley coming through, and it was I think it was just unfortunate that he got pushed out, but it's brilliant for us. I mean, getting a spinner of his quality and his ability is unbelievable. And he's not only is he a great spinner, he's a great bloke as well. Like, he's a really good personality to have around the group. He's a little bit different to us down the south. Like, he's got a bit about him, and he's a proper fighter. but no, he bowled brilliantly. I know he probably had a few mixed emotions during that game, as anyone does when you go and play against your old team. I know that every time I've played against Sussex, it's been a bit of a weird experience. Like half of you wants to do well, and half of you's not really sure what you're thinking. So I think he was in a bit of a weird space that week going back to Old Trafford for the first time. But I think he was pretty happy at the end of the game. I can say that for sure.
Yeah, I bet. And then finally, Harry, just talk to me a bit about Daniel Bell-Drummond. Obviously hit 70-odd to take you guys across the line. He's been brilliant so far, coming in as captain. What's it like to play under him?
Oh, he's amazing. He's such a good player. I mean, he's a brilliant captain as well. He's very calm, very calculated. But as a player, like I don't want to use the word underrated because he isn't underrated, but he's not really spoken about at all. And he's so good. Like he just bangs out runs in all formats every year consistently. And it's a bit baffling how he's probably not got the sort of T20 gigs he's got, and also a bit more recognition potentially with higher honours and stuff. But no, he's an unbelievable player, and that innings the other day was as good as it gets, really, on a spinning wicket against Nathan Lyon to get 80 not out or whatever it was not out was unbelievable. Yeah, we're very lucky to have him at Kent. He's an outstanding player.
Brilliant, well said. I totally agree because I picked him as my most underrated player of the season, so I'm glad you said that.
Did you? All right, well, there you go. You always have had a good cricketing brain, Toast, so that's...
yeah, better off the field than on it. Harry, brilliant. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, mate. Thanks for joining us on County Cricket Weekly. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you again soon. Keep up the great work. Great to hear from Harry there. Of course, Daniel Bell-Drummond saw his team home, 79 not out to take Kent to victory. Bell-Drummond moves to 428 runs at an average of 71. A real coming-of-age season for him as Kent captain. Lancashire struggling, finding themselves bottom of the table. And I wonder if Nathan Lyon is scratching his head thinking, what's he got himself in for?
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it, coming over from such a brilliant summer, one of the most well-renowned off-spinners in the game or ever.
Yeah.
And to then be at the bottom of the table must be pretty tough mentally to continue to do that. And I don't know how many overs he bowled, but it must have been a lot as well. So
yeah.
It is a tricky one.
He was turning it, took a great return catch, made it look very easy. I'm sure he's still enjoying his time. I'm sure Lancashire have got a great setup, but I think there'll be a bit of disappointment from the Lancashire team management, perhaps, that they've got this world-class bowler coming in and they find themselves bottom of the league. But still, plenty of games to go.
Definitely.
Perhaps they can turn their form around.
And you mentioned Daniel Bell-Drummond there as well. We spoke about this in the Cricket District show. You don't think he gets enough praise, and I agree with you. He's, again, playing a real captain's knock in this game. 79 not out, and like you say, 428 runs, an average of 71 that can't be overlooked. It's an amazing, amazing effort.
Yeah, mate, I'm pretty happy with my predictions. It doesn't normally go that way, but I was backing Somerset to win, and they've done pretty well so far. And Bell-Drummond, I think, was my pick of the batters to watch. So really happy for him. Obviously, a big change at Kent. Sam Billings stepping down as captain. Bell-Drummond comes in and leads from the front, scores valuable runs, particularly when Crawley isn't getting any.
Yeah.
DBD, shout out. He's getting a lot of runs, and hopefully Kent can continue their fine form, certainly from my perspective.
Definitely.
So let's head over to Division 2 over at Lords, Middlesex v Leicestershire. Disappointingly, it was a draw because no play was possible on day 1 or day 4. Real shame that.
Yeah, it just feels like we were almost there with a clean week of no rain delays, and we had to get another one.
Yeah, looking at the scorecard, Leicestershire post 306 all out, 100 for Peter Hanscom, of course, making amends for his 99 in his previous match, so he'll be delighted to have got across the line for Leicestershire. Middlesex, 407 for 8 in reply. Big hundreds from Sam Robson and Lewis Deploy. Deploy, what a season he's having. 507 runs at an average of 84, and he's the second highest run scorer in the champ. I mean, across all formats. We saw him at the SA20, lighting up for Joburg Super Kings at the Wanderers, and now Lords, under grey skies, he's proven he can do it across all formats.
Yeah, we were chatting about this in the office earlier. It's interesting to kind of work out when or if he's going to be available for England, and I think it's this year. I think we worked that out because he's South African born, but he's been playing in cricket in England, but then he also represented Hungary in the European Cricket Championships. Hopefully he's available for England because I really enjoy watching him play. A classy left-hander, and like we said, second highest run score in the County Championship. He actually did jump to the top of the table at one point during this game, but then Sam North East did bring it back in that second innning. So, 507 runs, an average of 84 is wild.
Yeah, definitely. I think if he was already qualified for England, there'd be a lot of talk around this summer because, he's, like I said, brilliant in T20 cricket. He's shown he can do it in 4-day cricket. So a really exciting talent. It's great to hear him talk about how much he enjoys playing county cricket as well as all of the franchise stuff. And he's shown that you can do it all as well. I think he's 29 and he's playing franchise cricket, but he comes back to the UK and he plays county cricket as well and performs for Middlesex.
Yeah, he does fit that kind of Bazball style as well, if you even think about red ball. So, and a left-hander, it's also nice to mix it up. I think definitely one to watch in the coming years.
Yeah, so Middlesex unbeaten and into second in Division 2, the Vitality County Championship. Leicestershire, 5 draws from 5 games, so rain has really spoiled their season. I think Village Moment of the Week has got to go to Mark Stoneman. Every club has a player who can't believe they've just got out.
Yeah, just checked his shot. If you haven't seen the clip yet, it's brilliant. He kind of gets bowled around his legs, as we all have, and then just has to double check a couple of times to realise, has that just happened? Yeah, it's just happened.
Yeah, he'll be gutted, won't he? Because when Robson gets runs, Deploy gets runs, Stoneman will be a bit disappointed he didn't get too many. Let's move on to Derbyshire v Sussex. A massive win for Sussex, who won by an innings and 124 runs. Derbyshire 246 all out in the first innings, and Sussex went really big in reply, hitting 479.
Yeah, it's amazing, and as a Sussex fan, without being too biased, it is brilliant to see, and I love to see a win by an innings as well. It's really cool to see. Big contributions from the whole team, like I say, homegrown talent and overseas players combining to reach that 479. 50s for Haynes and Allsop, 72 for James Coles, and a late order runs from Carson, Finn Hudson-Prentice, Danny Lamb, and 100 from Pujara is really cool.
What a player. Yeah, where would Sussex be without him?
Yeah.
He's just a phenomenal red ball batter. He's just bats with pure class. He seems like he's got all the time in the world.
Yeah.
And he's performing really well for Sussex when they need him. But it has to be said that the players around him, particularly in this game, are stepping up. And I wonder how much of an impact he's playing on those, he's having on those young players.
Yeah.
Coles, Hudson-Prentice, Allsop, those guys who haven't been in the game for that long can look up someone like Pujara, see the way he plays the game. He must have a massive impact at Sussex. And they seem like the team to beat right now in Division 2. They're in fine form.
Definitely. I think a lot of the time I relate county cricket to club cricket.
Yeah.
And it's like you're a junior and there is a senior who's been playing at your club for X many years and you're just trying to learn everything off them possible. It must be quite hopefully a similar sort of vibe in a county setup that they can just talk to Pujara, learn everything possible that they can get off him while he's over here. I don't know how long he's here for, so just get as much as you can out of him before he leaves. And yeah, it's clear to see that they must be learning something. Yeah,
and he's clearly enjoying life at Sussex as well. He's done several interviews talking about how much he loves playing at Hove and playing for Sussex. So it's great to see a player of that calibre enjoying county championship.
And in terms of the atmosphere as well of going to a county championship game, it's very relaxed, it's very chilled, and he can probably just enjoy himself and just concentrate on scoring runs. It must be really nice for him.
Not worry about having to take too many selfies.
Exactly.
Yeah. So another fifer for Jaden Seals. Derbyshire was skiffled for 109 in the third innings. Jaden Seals, what a brilliant signing. That spell, 8 overs, 5 wickets, 29 runs, and he's now the leading wicket taker in Division 2.
Yeah, another overseas signing for Sussex, doing well, and our good friend Nikhil will be very happy with Jaden doing well. But the great thing about Jaden is I've recently been following him on TikTok, and he works really hard. Like he's always talking about his kind of progression in the game. He's in the gym a lot. He's just always working on something, and I think he's still pretty young as well. So I like him as a player for sure.
Yeah, another one who's worked really hard. I think we mentioned it in previous podcasts. Finn Hudson-Prentice, obviously, we follow him a lot. We know he plays club cricket locally when he's not playing for Sussex. Worked hard in the winter and is taking really important wickets and scored a few valuable runs for Sussex as well.
Fun wickets as well. He always seems to get his stumps out of the ground.
It
makes for a nice little clip.
Yeah, that's a definite improvement in the county streams recently. It's like the side angle. You can see the stump cartwheeling. Have you ever done that?
A couple of times.
Maybe
they've got really light stumps. I know some clubs around here have very light stumps and they just fly at any time. But have you seen the stumps in the IPL? Sorry, a bit off tangent, but
no.
They literally look like this.
Yeah.
Maybe county championship one day they'll get these luminous stumps.
I'm not sure what the tradition is. Something like that. So moving on, Yorkshire v Glamorgan, Root v Root, match drawn, but Glamorgan 2-2-1 in their first innings. Dan Moriarty picked up 4 wickets for Yorkshire, and they smashed 519 for 7 in reply. Finley Bean, 173, big partnership with Joe Root, who scored 156. Finley Bean, of course, who we saw, I think in 2022, score a ridiculous 441 in a second 11 game for Yorkshire. He looks like after a bit of a quiet few months, he's coming to the first team and he's scoring runs at the highest level.
Yeah, definitely. And a run rate of 5.5 and over from Yorkshire is seriously impressive. Again, maybe trying to impress somebody, Bazball. But
yeah, modern cricket.
Yeah, for sure. And route versus route as well is quite a fun sort of thing to see. And I was actually intrigued to see when Billy Root got out, Joe Root's reaction, because if my sibling was playing, I'd be running at them celebrating, but he calmly walks off, so he's kept his cool.
I mean, he did drop him, didn't he, in the first innings?
And he did drop him in the first innings, which... I would love to see what WhatsApp or message was sent that evening. Sorry, unlucky Joe.
No, it's great. It's great to see. And of course, actually, Yorkshire will have been well aware that there was some rain around, so batting aggressively. It's not all to do with McCullum, but
of course,
they have the ability to turn over a quick run rate, 5.5, like you said. Glamorgan, in their third innings, more runs for Sam North East and Colin Ingram, both scoring hundreds. And at the close of play, 372 for 7, and sadly, torrential rain at Headingley. In fact, the outfield, I think, was completely flooded at the end of the day.
Yeah, I feel really bad for the ground staff who work hard all week preparing this lovely pitch, lovely outfield, and then you see a picture that Yorkshire tweeted just with a completely flooded outfield. It must be so difficult to take.
Yeah, they've done a great job, considering how much rain we've had in April and in the last few days in May. It's amazing we've had as much cricket as we have, so... Shout out to the ground staff of every county ground in the country. They've done an amazing job to get so much cricket played.
I know that people say, they're the unsung heroes of the game, but they really, really, really are. They work so hard all week to get this ready, and I think everyone has had a go at some element of preparing a pitch. If that's your club ground at home, you kind of know how much dedication goes into it, for sure.
Let's just quickly touch on Sam North East. Finished the innings on 142 not out, taking his tally for the season to 561 runs. I mean, obviously, that 100 at Lord's helped him. But great to see that he's still scoring lots of runs. And he's another player who's been knocking on the door for England for a long time. Whether he'll get the opportunity, I don't know. But he's clearly enjoying his time for Glamorgan. Yeah,
it's interesting. He's top of the table run scorers, and Colin Ingram is third place. So both of those two kind of leading the way in the runs. And like you say, players that have been around for a while, but still showing their class now in 2024 in the county championship.
Yeah, let's have a talk about our player of the round, Jack.
Yeah.
So obviously several standout performers. Who are you going to give 1 point to?
1 point, I think... It's hard because Finley Bean 173 is a big score, but I quite like giving a special mention to Harry Finch for that stumping, because it was really, really amazing.
Love it. Sorry, Finley, 173. Doesn't matter because Harry Finch took an amazing stumping and we spoke to him for the show. So, yeah, let's give 1 point. 2 points, I think we've got to go Jaden Seales.
Yeah,
I think
for
Sussex
sure.
to win by an innings, it wouldn't have been possible without his wickets. He's
No.
just blown several of the best batsmen away. He's such a talented bowler. Great to see him doing well and picking up another fifer.
Yeah, and then 3 points, I think we go for Nathan Gilchrist. 6 for 24 in 8 overs, so not long at all. And just like you say, Lancashire just couldn't deal with him.
No, Lancashire at home, brilliant batting lineup, and he takes 6 for 24, completely blows them away. And obviously we saw in the third innings Lancashire getting 300 plus.
Yeah.
So to bowl them out for under 100 was just crucial. So yeah, stand-up performer of the week for me. I'm not biased. I know I'm a Kent fan, but to be honest, 6 for 24 is just a serious performance from him. So he takes all 3 points. Right, Cricket District 11 on the cricket draft. How have we done? Fantasy League. You won a couple of years ago. I'm pretty sure you won the World Cup Fantasy League. Any good this year, or have you dropped off?
I started off okay.
Yeah.
I've dropped off last week. Terrible week last week. This week I'm better.
He's back.
1,210 points for me.
Nice.
Game week ranking of 1,125, which still feels quite low down, but I think there's around 10,000 people playing this, so I'm taking that.
Okay, top 10%.
In the league,
Yeah.
overall, I am now 1,001st, so right on that borderline.
Yeah. Who's got points for you this week?
This week, points. I captained Harry Brook, which was great.
Yeah, good runs for him.
274 points. Sam North East was in, 221 points. And of course, like I said before, Sam Cook, vice captain, 229 points.
Any Sussex players in your team, considering you're a Sussex fan?
Jaden Seales, 178 points.
Nice.
For the Cricket District League, I'm 79th. And in first place, we have Bexhill Yellow, Richard Walters on 8,126 points, which is 2,000 points above me.
Wow, Badger. Great work, Richard. Cool, that's great to know. If you haven't joined yet, there's still time. You can a few more game weeks left to join the Cricket District League on the Cricket Draft. Right, let's take a look at the tables, Jack. Who's top of Division 1?
Top of Division 1 is Essex on 74 points. They're 2 points ahead of Somerset, who sit on 72 points, and Surrey sit in third place at 71 points.
Surrey, of course, not playing this week, so good opportunity for Somerset and Essex to pull away.
For sure.
Division 2?
Division 2, Sussex are leading the way on 74 points, and they're 6 points ahead of Middlesex and Leicestershire, who are both on 68 points.
Okay, so Essex, Surrey, Somerset, the teams to beat in Division 1, and Sussex pulling away with it in Division 2.
Worth noting that Sussex also still have a game in hand as well, but 2 wins for them, 1 win for Middlesex, and no one else has got a win in Division 2. So rain can go away.
Rain can go away. Fingers crossed it does for the next couple of weeks. Thanks for joining us on County Cricket Weekly, guys. We really enjoyed it. Only 5 games, but loads of entertaining cricket played.
Make sure you like, subscribe to where you listen to your podcasts, and we'll see you in the next episode.